Who doesn't love getting headshots? Of course, there are multiple reasons to get headshots in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. First, and the obvious, you're gonna kill enemies quicker. Second, maybe you're not paying attention, or maybe you just don't care, or maybe you're like me and you wanna grind for those camos, but you have to get headshots to complete camos in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, at least for the assault rifles. I haven't looked at any other rifles because I'm worried about the assault rifles right now. But for the assault rifles, you have to get headshots to unlock the camos. So it only makes sense to have a headshot build for every assault rifle. And in this video, I'm doing the Model L. What's up, YouTube? Zero here, and today I have an epic build for headshots for the Model L in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. In this video, I'm gonna go over the build that I have. You're witnessing it in this video. I'm gonna talk about the pluses and the minuses, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're done getting the headshots, if this build is worth sticking around, because you may want to use this after you're finished getting the headshots because it's just a good build. So without further ado, let's talk about the build for the Model L. Of course, if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Call of Duty content. I do a bunch of other video games, so feel free to check those out as well. If you enjoy horror content, check out my Twitter because I have a bunch of horror content on there. Without further ado, let's talk about this Model L build for headshots. First, let's put a sight on there. Sights, although not always necessary, they do make it easier to get headshots. It gives you a clear sight. It gives you something to aim at a little bit better than the iron sight. So when I'm trying for headshots, I just feel better using a sight. It does make it a lot easier to get headshots. So I'm going to utilize the Kevlar Microflex. It's an easy sight, very easy to use, not too magnified, just a normal sight that does make getting headshots a lot easier. Next, I'm gonna have a muzzle, the ported compensator. The ported compensator is gonna, one, make first shot recoil control a lot easier, and second, it's gonna make our vertical recoil control easier. So this is going to vastly increase the recoil control of the gun, of course, making it easier to get headshots. Now, of course, we're gonna decrease that recoil control a little bit. Why? Because we have the CHF barrel. Now, while I am going to make the recoil control a lot harder, we do have the compensator to compensate for a little bit of it. This is going to decrease our vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control. However, it is going to increase our headshot multiplier. This is going to make it a lot easier to get headshots because when you're finally getting the enemy down, if you're hitting that headshot, the headshot multiplier is going to kick into effect and you're going to finish the enemy off with that headshot. Of course, extremely important, especially if you're grinding for camos. You're trying to get those headshots, so you need something that's going to allow you to make sure you're finishing off those enemies with headshots. It's nice to get headshots because you're dealing damage a little bit quicker, but when you're trying to finish enemies off with headshots, you need to make sure that last bullet is a headshot. So the CHF barrel is going to make that a lot easier. You can see I'm racking up the headshots in this video, so that is extremely important. Now I'm going to go with an underbarrel, and it's going to be the vertical foregrip. It's going to vastly help with the horizontal recoil control. So we have the CHF barrel that's going to be subtracting our vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control. I have the vertical foregrip, which is going to help out with the horizontal recoil control, and the ported compensator on the other side, helping out with that vertical recoil control. So that's going to negate really the negative drawbacks of the CHF barrel. The Model L has pretty good recoil control without any attachments, but to compensate for the drawbacks of that CHF barrel, I like having the vertical recoil foregrip and the ported compensator. Now, last but certainly not least, A fire mod is going to be the recoil springs. Again, making it easier to control the gun. I'm already subtracting a lot of recoil control with the CHF barrel, so I'm compensating for that with my other attachments, making it easier to control my gun so I can aim at the opponent's head, making sure I finish off with a headshot. So the recoil springs, the vertical foregrip, and the ported compensator are all there to help me with my recoil control, making sure that I'm aiming at the head. The CHF barrel, making sure I'm getting that extra headshot multiplier so I can finish off enemies with that headshot. And of course, the Kevlar Microflex, which is going to help me get those headshots a little bit easier because it does make it a little bit easier to aim at opponents depending on where you want to hit them. It's a little bit better than the iron sights when trying to hit enemies in the head. Of course, utilize the optic that you like best. Some may like an optic that's a little bit more zoomed in. I prefer the Kevlar just because it's a little bit more versatile. When you're on maps such as Nuketown, like you see here, it's a little bit easier because you're going to be getting into some of that close quarter combat. So it's a little bit easier to hit enemies when you're closer to enemies. However, I wouldn't mind upping the magnification on the optic a little bit to where you can more easily hit enemies over range. I just prefer the Kevlar because it's a little bit more versatile, but any optic will do, just making it that much easier to hit headshots. So this build is fantastic when you are grinding for those camos on the Model L. I love this build. I've been utilizing it a lot. It's one of my favorite builds on the Model L. So let's talk about this build in general, where it's good, where it's not so good. So overall, it is actually a very solid build. You're dealing extra damage with headshots, and then you are compensating for the drawbacks of the CHF barrel with your other attachments. Now, even though I am using it on Nuketown, and I do use it to decent effect, this build is a little bit harder if you're a player who's trying to run around, trying to maneuver really quickly around maps, because it's not built to be a running around class. It's built to be a little bit slower paced so you can hit enemies in the head with headshots. There are a lot of attachments if you are a faster paced player trying to run around a lot that will help you sprint to fire speed or aim down sight speed. This is not that class. You're going to die to submachine guns or faster paced builds for assault rifles if you are trying to run around a little bit. This isn't meant for that. Unfortunately, this is a slower paced build where you can sit in an objective zone, kind of aim down the sight, waiting for enemies to attack you, where you can slowly maneuver around the map. You're not meant for speed with this build. This build is meant to get those headshots. I'm not trying to run around. I am trying to slowly maneuver around the map and complete the objectives regardless of the objective. This is good regardless of the game mode. This is good in team deathmatch, helping you get kills. This is good if you're gonna sit in a hard point zone. Regardless of what you're doing, it's just a slower paced build, so you can't run around the map and use it as good as you could another build. Again, you're gonna want some of those faster paced attachments if you're trying to do that, such something that helps your aim down sight speed, something that helps your sprint to fire speed, or your mobility. I don't have any of those attachments on this gun. It's an overall good gun, a well-rounded gun, but it's not going to be great when you're trying to run around going up against submachine guns that are built for that. Again, this is slower paced, but if you're utilizing this for headshots or a slower paced play style, you're going to find that you really do enjoy this build as much as I do. It is fantastic. It's fun to utilize. If you enjoy capturing objectives like I do, you can see I've been sitting in the hard point a lot. Something that I like to do is capturing hard points, racking up those points for my team. So this is going to be a great build for that. So I would recommend checking it out if you're a little bit slower paced of a player, or if you like capturing objectives. It's going to be a really good build. And of course, getting those headshots is going to be very important to unlock those camos. Now, if you have unlocked some of the camos or all of the camos for the Model L, what's your favorite? Let me know in the comments section. Some of those special camos are actually pretty cool. You have that cherry blossom camo, which is absolutely awesome. I love that camo. And then you have that cedar camo, which is that wood look that looks really nice. Of course, those two are not unlocked by headshots. Those are the special camos after you've unlocked all of the other ones after getting 100 headshots to eventually get to unlock those special camos. But both of those are really cool camos. If I'm going with one of the headshot camos, I'm going to say the Tide. I like that color blue. That looks really cool. Reminds me of a turtle or something near the ocean. It's a really cool camo. But let me know in the comments section what your favorite camo for the Model L is. Of course, we're talking Model L in this, but leave a comment and let's talk anything Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in the comments section. What's your favorite gun? What's your favorite build so far? What do you think of this build? Have you used it? And if you have, do you enjoy it as much as I do? I am coming down to the end of the video. This was a pretty fun game and I do love this build, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It does really help out me and my channel grow and reach greater heights. I do really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. Check out my other Call of Duty Black Ops 6 videos. And until next time, peace.